Hi guys, welcome to this webinar. We're just going to give some time for everybody to log in who's waiting in the waiting room. So you can so long introduce yourself and tell us where you are watching from. And then as soon as we've got the majority of people logged in, we'll get going with the session ASAP. So just from your side, you guys can let me know where you're watching from, and you can introduce your names as well. That would be fantastic. Leave us a message in the chat box section. Hi Tebogo from Midrand, welcome to this webinar. Got Corlia from Pongola. Nobugle, welcome Nobugle. We've got the new, welcome to this webinar. There's a couple of other people as well. You're welcome to introduce yourself, guys, as we just give a few seconds before I get going. We've got Pumelo as well, Nobugle from Midrand. Gonse, welcome Gonse. Gonse is one of my agents in the Gauteng region, specifically focused in Garankuwa. We've got Kaitu. Your real name is actually Kaitu Metse. All right, that's not bad. Just let me know if I pronounced that correctly. All right, great stuff. So I'm going to so long get started working through the slides while the other people join as well. So guys, welcome to this webinar. I've got a really cool topic today, rebuilding your business after lockdown, and I'm going to specifically focus on methods that you can use to identify where the market is going. All right. And I think that is crucial for every entrepreneur to understand. Just want to welcome Rose as well from Sandton. They're in the richest mile in Africa, right? So most of you guys have already told me where you are watching from. I'm going to skip over to the next two questions, which is in what industry are you trading? And then also, what's your biggest challenges during this lockdown period? In what industry are you trading? And what is your biggest challenges? Right, so you guys can just get going with those questions as well, or answers to them. You can do your answers in the chat box section. You'll see on your device, there should be a chat. And if you activate that, you'll be able to send your messages. And just a few other things as well. Remember that this is a webinar, and sometimes the internet drops, or your internet might drop, or my connection might fail. If you get dropped off from this webinar, just go back to the previous link and click on that link to re-enter again. I will do the same. The one time I did do a webinar and my link dropped. So it does happen from time to time. There might be sound issues as well. However, I would like you guys to just inform me if the sound is coming through clear and crisp. Otherwise, it might be the mic that I'm wearing. And then also, if you learn something that's interesting or good, guys, please give me a shout on the chat box and tell me what it is that you are taking from that, or just encourage me. It always helps and keeps me motivated that you guys are actually taking in something and that you're learning something. Right. Cool. So we've got some questions coming back here. The Bogo is trading in fiber projects. We've got Rose in hospitality and a guest house. Okay, so I understand that the tourism industry has taken a big knock. Okay, Rose, but I'm going to touch on some things that might get you to think about your business and where the industry is going, and you can maybe get yourself there ahead of the competition. So I believe lockdown, it's not a time to look at being profitable, but if you can do everything in your power just to survive, then after lockdown, anything is possible, guys. Anything is possible. Right, the sound is clear. Great stuff. We've got Millicent in the travel industry. and leisure. We've got Corlia in education, and we've got Pamelu in construction, Nobugle in bookkeeping. Getting new clients is sometimes a problem. We've got Tabu in the digital media industry. Right, Tabu, you can let me know, are you an influencer? Are you an influencer, or are you looking to help other companies with their digital marketing? Daniel, you can just double check your volume settings. Just double check your volume settings. Okay, we've got Kai Tumetse, who laughed at my pronunciation, although it's correct. And not sure. Sorry, I'm not sure if you're a male or a female because of the name. I've never seen that name before. But I see you in the tourism industry and travel agent. Okay, so we've got a few people here in tourism, leisure and travel, and we've got the new arts and training development. We've got Bongin Korsi in HR and skills development. All right. So guys, just to give you some background, the way that I normally do my webinars, for those who haven't listened to me yet, is I do a very broad perspective, but the idea is to teach you certain skills to help you think about your business that you can apply, because I do believe that everybody has a unique, incredible brain. And with that brain, you've got the ability to think solutions that other people can't, because nobody possesses your brain. Only you possess your brain, and your brain is like a supercomputer ready to go to work for you. So I'm looking to empower that part through certain strategic ideas for you guys to think and actually understand why you're thinking the way you're thinking. Okay, Tabu, you're not an influencer. You help clients, online advertising, and so forth. That's good. I like that. Right. I've got a different opinion to influencers on Instagram than possibly what they would like to know from me. But any case, at the end of this webinar, you'll be empowered with practical tips and tools to assist you in repositioning your business post-lockdown. So I do believe there's an opportunity for you to use this lockdown to your advantage. Although it's not easy, it's possible, right? Not easy, but it is possible if you can control your emotion and look at the matter objectively. And that is definitely not easy. Just a quick introduction. I'm Brent Badenhorst. I founded Business Plan Pro in December 2016, and I've been writing business plans since then. Before I did the business plans from 2013 to 2016, I was a business consultant at Company Partners, where we assisted people to start their companies, register their companies, and also a bit of consultation as well. I've launched Entrepreneurship School in 2018. We are CETA accredited, and I'm a CETA accredited business facilitator and a keynote speaker on entrepreneurship and business growth. And as I've already said, I've been doing this for a long time. So I'm focused, I'm perseverant, I know exactly what my mission in life is. And this today is part of the mission, so I'm excited. Right, you guys can check me out on Instagram, Brent Badenhorst. That's my handle. You can check out our Facebook page, Entrepreneurship School SA. You can follow me on LinkedIn and on YouTube as well. And I want to encourage you guys to also check out our website and our blog section. Every month I'm doing a few articles, I'm doing a video series, I'm doing 1 or 2 webinars, and I'm always focused on one topic relevant to business owners. And this month in June, I'm focusing on repositioning and rebuilding your business after lockdown, as it's a very relevant and practical topic for business owners in South Africa. So go check me out on these platforms, and you guys can then stay updated with the new content. And we are on a mission to activate dreams in people and create a platform for them to launch in the direction of their dreams. That is why we exist. That is why I'm doing business. And so far, so good. As I've already mentioned, we are CETA accredited. And I want to give you guys a quick testimonial of one of our clients that we assisted last year and the beginning of this year, Lumay Spengler. She had a party planning business, but she had it part-time and she was working full-time. So we started with a business program, which is a 12-week program I do with my clients. And we basically went through this program, starting out with just helping her to understand the realities of entrepreneurship and making sure her vision is in place. And as we went along in this program, we actually realized that she is focusing too broad and we need to narrow it down. And I assisted her to pinpoint her passion and the skill and to actually start a brand that's very relevant to who she is and what she wants to do with her business. So within a matter of 4 weeks, literally, we went through 8 weeks, we discovered what she wants to do. And within a matter of 4 weeks, we established a new brand for Lume. And she built a website, she got an online platform, she had a few leads coming in, and we changed her whole business from party planning to wedding planning. Very specific, very focused, very niche. And I'm happy to report that she literally launched her business after we were finished with that program. And she also left us a cool testimonial on Facebook. So you guys can go check out the testimonials on Facebook. But I was very excited for her because she was a dedicated student. She wanted to learn and she wanted to start a business. And this is what really makes me happy, is putting people in a position where a dream is activated in them and then helping them to lay a foundation from where they can launch in the direction. Right, so I never do the launching for my clients. It's actually impossible. But what I do is I make sure that everything is in place for that person to launch. And that for me is true empowerment. I can catch her fish, but if I can teach her to catch her own fish, she will never need my help again. And that is what makes me excited, because that is true empowerment. All right. So guys, as I've mentioned, this is a possible opportunity for you to take a look at your business and ask yourself how I can use this lockdown to my advantage. Now, it might sound a bit strange if you're in the tourism industry or if you're a hairdresser and you really, everything stopped for you and so forth during this lockdown. But if you can get over that emotional fear and paralysis that comes with a crisis, you can look at the matter objectively, and you can then literally use it to your advantage. And in the words of Winston Churchill, guys, never let a good crisis go to waste. It's incredible how many great ideas and how many things have developed in the moment of a crisis. Because when you go through a crisis, it's actually human behavior. If you go through a crisis, you literally in a position where your senses are at its sharpest. You are thinking outside the box because you are desperate, and because you are desperate, all these attributes come to play. You think outside the box. You make a plan where there seems to be no way out, and your senses are sharp. And if you can use that to your advantage, then you can use the crisis and reposition your business in a better state. Quick story. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with Paul Getty, but there is a movie about this guy. He was the richest guy in the 60s and the 70s. And Paul Getty, basically, in the middle of the Great Depression, he got an inheritance of $500,000. And the stocks were at an all-time low. And Paul Getty understood that oil is a big deal. And at that time, the oil stocks were at their lowest ever. So Paul Getty took the $500,000 and he bought all the oil stocks that he could with that money. And when the market recovered after the Great Depression, Paul Getty, now get this, literally became a billionaire in 24 hours. Okay, that's freaking massive, because he was willing to take a risk in the middle of the Great Depression. He bought oil stocks, and in 24 hours when the market recovered, he became a billionaire in one freaking day. That's incredible. That's a brilliant example of somebody who took a chance in the middle of a crisis and used it to their benefit. And his motto in life was, his motto in life was, I buy when others are selling. Guys, now you as entrepreneurs on this webinar should understand this better than the people who's in the workforce. We should understand that entrepreneurship in itself is a risky business. There's no getting out of that. And we should understand the concept better than anybody else to buy when others are selling. So now is the time for you to take a chance. Now is the time for you to take a risk and get yourself in a position where you can really get yourself to the market leader of that industry. Right, guys, so the lineup for today, I'm going to touch the majority of this webinar will be about market analysis to really get you guys to understand the importance of that. And then we're going to take a look at essential services and service accessibility, which is very important if you look to reposition your business and see what you can do better post-lockdown. Right, now, interesting. I've just touched on the concept of market research, right? Market analysis. So this is Steve Jobs' take on market research. True story. I got this out of his autobiography. So just before the launch of the Macintosh computer in January 1984, and just by the way, Macintosh, the launch of Macintosh, that Apple computer, was a revolutionary product for that time. It literally took personal computers to another level. It literally took the whole industry of computers to a level that nobody has ever seen before. That's what the Macintosh did for our lives. It was the future of computers in 1984. And a journalist asked Steve Jobs just before the launch in 1984, January, what market research did you do before you started or launched this project? And Steve Jobs basically answered him and said, did Graham Bell do market research before the launch of the telephone? Okay, now the answer is obvious. I'm sure he didn't. But I'm sure Graham Bell thought to himself, you know what, this is such a brilliant device. Everybody needs it. It's going to increase productivity in the world. And businesses will be the first guys to latch onto this device instead of sending telegrams, right? So sometimes when it comes to market research, we should not use the traditional methods of trying to identify if there's a market or not, aka walking with your diary down the street and asking people, what do you think about this idea? Would you buy it? Would you do this? Would you do that? That's not always the best way to go about market research. Now, it's not that Steve Jobs didn't believe in market research. It's that Steve Jobs understood his market. He had empathy for people and he understood what his product will do for other people and that they actually need it. It's not a nice to have, it's a need to have because it will empower their lives to another level. So that's what Steve Jobs believed in. It's not that he didn't believe in market research. It's just the way that we do market research that is very important. Right, so first of all, let's take a look at what I like to call empathy-based market research. And if you're not familiar with the word empathy, it actually means to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and really understand that person. That's empathy. That's empathy. Where sympathy is the concept of I'm saying, ah, shame, poor you. Empathy is I put myself in your position and I think to myself what I would do if I was in your position. That's the concept of empathy. And that's what I want to loosen over your minds today is empathy-based market research. To really put yourself in your client's shoe and try to understand what they are thinking and how they are making their decisions to spend and buy. If you can capture that, 50% guaranteed, you can put yourself in a better position. All right. Okay, so guys, just quickly, I am recording this. You will get the recorded version afterwards as well. If it throws you off, don't worry. You can just click on the recording link that will be sent to you by this afternoon. Okay, so empathy-based market research. First of all, you need to have a general understanding of the market, of your client, of your customer, and what's happening in the market. You need to understand, not assumption. Not assumption. We all know assumption is the mother of all stuff-ups, right? I'm not going to say the nasty word. It's the mother of all stuff-ups. That's assumptions. But you got to understand it's two different things. So first of all, you need to honestly and clearly identify your target market. You need to honestly and clearly identify the target market. And it's interesting, just earlier today, I had a conversation with one of my friends, and they've got a business where they are doing consultation for other businesses in the procedures and systems of that business. And it's interesting because it's semi-competition for me, but actually not at all, because I know who my target market is. So I'm willing to share ideas with this guy and give him some tips on certain marketing procedures because I'm not threatened by him. And that comes from clearly and honestly identifying your market. All right, that's the first thing you got to do. Who is my target market? Why do they need my product? And so forth. Okay, the second question you need to ask yourself is, what is the market's biggest needs in a crisis? Okay, this is quite deep, these questions. Try to put yourself in your client or your customer's shoes and ask yourself, if I was in their shoe, what would be my biggest need in this crisis? What do I need versus what is nice? And that's the next question. What is the market's interpretation on a need to have in my life or a need to have in my business versus a nice to have in my life or a nice to have in my business? And obviously, if we're going through a recession and money is tight, we're not going to spend our money on nice things. We're going to spend our money on needs. So when the recession hits businesses as well as individuals, it's not suddenly more beneficial to do business to business instead of business to consumer, because everybody is now holding on to their money and everybody is cutting expenses when it comes to nice things. So you got to ask yourself, what does the market interpret as a need at this stage? Okay, I hope you guys are with me. Give me a message there if you still follow me and if you understand everything clearly so far. Right, and then the last question for general understanding is, what is the market willing to spend money on? These are very important questions. What is the market willing to spend money on? Okay, so guys, answering these questions honestly and clearly will really put you in a position where you start to understand what the market is going through, where you start to understand what the client and the customer is going through, and that will lay the foundation for you to reposition your business, that you can put yourself in a position where you cater to their needs. Right, very important questions these. Cool, so let's go on to the next one. Also part of the empathy-based market research. Marketing and opportunities, that's the next section. So your next question is, where is the market's attention at? Now that you looked at identifying your target market and answering the fact that I am selling a need to have, people will buy my product because they need it, and I understand what my client is going through. Now you can say, now that I know who my target market is, the next question becomes, where is their attention at? And this, in a nutshell, is marketing 101. Putting your brand or your business on the platform where your market's attention is at. That's marketing 101. So you can't do marketing if you don't understand your market. And I just want to say this, there's much better ways to do marketing than Facebook and Instagram. Let me put that out there. We've got so many diverse opportunities and methods and channels to do marketing, but somehow the world has gotten stuck with, my only channel for marketing is Facebook and Instagram, and that's it. My brain doesn't think further than that, because I think everybody's doing these channels and I will do a lot of business through this, by just starting a Facebook page. Guys, that is incorrect. Let me break that theory right now. That is incorrect. You got to do much more than just posting a few things on Facebook and doing a few things on Instagram. You got to do much, much more. Okay, but that starts with an understanding of where your market is at. Just to give you guys an idea, if I've got let's say I've got a restaurant and I like to entertain people, then I will definitely use Facebook and Instagram as marketing channels, because it's a social event that I'm marketing, and people go onto Facebook and Instagram because they want to socialize, not because they want to do business, right? So now that people are on these platforms, they want to socialize, and I've got a socializing business, it absolutely makes sense. Great channel. But if I'm looking to do business with engineers and architects and so forth, I'm not going to post ads on Facebook. I'm going to look to network with these people, think out proposal opportunities, connect with them on LinkedIn. I will take a totally different route if I'm going for the professional rather than the social ability. So that's just an idea of the types of marketing that differs. So there's no correct answer when it comes to marketing. The correct answer is, first of all, understand your market, pinpoint your market, and then you got to ask yourself, where is their attention at? Okay, where is their attention at? And where their attention is at, how relevant is that to the service or the product that I'm offering them? All right. Another example, I've got a coffee stand in the mall, and people on a Saturday, the mall's very full, everybody wants to buy something new. So now I need to think, it's not necessarily Facebook that is a good option. Now I can try to put up a poster somewhere where I market the coffee if they walk past this store, thinking outside the box in that direction. Okay, so that's the first thing about marketing. Where's the retention at? The second thing is, what opportunities are you spotting now? Now that you have identified the market, and now that you know where their attention is at, you understand them better. Now you got to ask yourself, with this understanding that I have of the market, of what they want and what they need and where their attention is at, what opportunities am I spotting that I can utilize to my benefit? Right, what opportunities are you spotting? That's your next question. And your last question when it comes to marketing and opportunities is, how relevant are these opportunities in the light of a nice versus a need? So a lot of people spot opportunities, correct? And it's possibly not a good opportunity because it's not really relevant. You see something, you think it's a good opportunity, but it's actually not. So you got to be honest. Now that you see certain opportunities, you got to ask yourself, if I go for this opportunity and if I sell this product or the service as an opportunity for these people, do they need it, or is it just a nice add-on? Okay, that's an important question. I would say, obviously, first price is they actually need this and we can supply it now. So that's an opportunity. Otherwise, if it's a nice to have, the better idea is to go about that is to sell a need, maybe your initial service you sell, and then you sell the nice to have as an upsell. Okay, here's an interesting idea for you guys. When McDonald's literally tripled their income with one idea that they implemented. It's freaking incredible. And what happened was they normally would just sell a burger. And then somebody in McDonald's said, why don't we get our people at the McDonald's franchises to, when people order a burger, just ask them, would you like a Coke and a fries with that? That's literally all they did. One idea. It's relevant. It's practical. It's not necessarily a need to have, but let's say the burger is McDonald's need to have. Now they're upselling on that need to have with a nice, which is fries and Coke. And McDonald's literally tripled their income with one idea. That is freaking incredible. So what is that idea that you can implement where you can maybe add on something extra to what you're already offering? And the more need-based you can make that, the better chance you have of selling that. All right. Are you guys with me? Are you learning something? It's a very interesting one there about McDonald's. I also implemented that after I learned it. Right. And the last part of the empathy-based marketing is now going to your competitor. All right. So guys, don't go to the competition not before you have assessed the market yourself. And let me tell you why. When you go to the competitor before you go and do your own analysis, then you see what they are doing, fear strikes you, and you start to think to yourself, whoops, everybody's doing this, I'm missing out, I better jump on the bandwagon. And that fear basically blinds your eyes to other opportunities that the competitors might be missing, because they are all doing what they are all, because each one sees what the other one is doing, so they all are doing that. Okay, here's the thing about the rat race. If I do what everybody else is doing, I'm competing in the rat race. And it's like, it is freaking relentless. No matter what you do, no matter how you do it, it's like this fight for survival. All the rats are chasing for one piece of cheese, and that cheese is only so much, and there's not enough for everybody, right? So rather than competing in the freaking rat race, just think for yourself, what is my strength? What is my passion? What can I do that's different to the competitors that they are missing, which will put me in a league of my own? Then you're doing business next to the rat race. It's like when you sit in a train. I've been to Europe a few times, and when you sit in a train, you travel very fast, but you travel next to the highway. Now the highway might have the highway I see as the rat race. The highway might have cars, and there's traffic, and there's an accident, and the cars stop, and so forth, where the train just goes smooth. And if you can get that train track next to the rat race, you're in a position and a league of your own. And that's freaking brilliant. Okay, so I want you guys to not go to the competitor now, but first assess the market. Ask yourself, what does the client need? What's a need for him versus a nice for him? Where is their attention at? And now you see certain opportunities. Now you take those opportunities, let's say it's 2 or 3 opportunities that you've spotted, and you compare them now to the competitor. Different story, because you are looking with perspective, and you're looking at this thing objectively rather than with fear because the competitors are doing a certain thing. So first of all, you list your competitors, and you now do the same type of analysis with them as you did with your client. Where is your competitor's attention at? And that's easy to spot if you go on their website and you just do a bit of reading and you study their social media and so forth, where their attention is at. What opportunities are they pursuing? What opportunities are they missing? Is one of the opportunities they are missing the opportunity that you have discovered? Okay, so maybe you see for yourself that they are missing this opportunity. You've seen this opportunity, and there's now a gap in the market. And now you got to now you got to ask yourself, how relevant is their offering in the light of a nice versus a need? And you dissect the competitors, and you make a decision what opportunities now are good ideas because you've done a thorough analysis on the market, not your traditional type of market analysis or market research, but you took a different approach. You took it out of the form of empathy. And very interesting, when Apple launched in 1976, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, who were the founders of Apple, brought on a third person, which was Mark Markula. And Mark Markula was a marketing person, and he had a third of the company at that stage. And Steve Jobs and Mark Markula wrote down 3 guiding principles or 3 guiding values that they will build Apple on. The first value was empathy. That's incredible. The first value was empathy. Steve Jobs understood that he needs to understand his market better than the competitors in order for them to build products that's relevant to their market, that the people actually need, and that will empower them going forward. Right, so empathy-based market research is the way to go, and it gets you in a position where you actually understand what is happening. You don't just do what other people are doing. Because if the blind leads the blind, everybody falls into the ditch. And there's one guy that spots an opportunity, Paul Getty, he buys all the oil stocks and he becomes a billionaire overnight. So what are those oil stocks that everybody's missing that you can put your hands on? Okay, cool. Are you guys still with me? You're learning something. Let me know if you are starting to think about your business and your market. That's an important answer I would like to know from you guys. Right, so guys, the big question, now that you understand the market, you understand the competitors, you know what opportunities there are, the next thing you need to pinpoint is, where is the market heading? Where is the market heading? That's your next question. Where is the market heading? Because now you want to reposition your business in the path of where the market is going to hit your business. Okay, I'm going to say that again. You want to reposition your business to where the market is going. If you can do that successfully and you build according to that, then you are miles ahead of the competitors. So much so that once the market catches up to you, because you analyze this thing correctly, once the market is catching up to you, you already 5 steps ahead, because you've already planned where the market is going next. When eventually the market catches up to you, you're already starting to move forward and forward and forward, and your competitors are still behind, and you basically the market leader. So that's how it's possible to reposition yourself and put your business in a place where you can be the market leader. Guys, is that clear? If there's any questions regarding this, we will have a questions and answers afterwards, and you guys can ask me some questions, and I will just stay behind for about 15 minutes. Okay, so guys, but let me know, is it clear? First of all, understand the market, spot the opportunity, compare with the competitors, and now position yourself to where the market is going. It's literally as simple as that. And it's not complicated. Although it's difficult, it's not complicated. Okay, although it's difficult, it's not complicated. Right. And Steve Jobs said, Steve Jobs believed that there was actually this ice hockey player who was the best in America at a certain stage. And when they asked him what his secret was, he said, I always skated towards where the puck will be. I never skated towards where the puck is. Okay, and Steve Jobs said, we need to move towards where the market is going. We never skate towards where the market is. That's now Apple. So I want to encourage you guys, never just go along with the market, but rather put yourself in a position to move to where the market is going. All right. Cool. Just quickly, Tabogo, you will get the replay link afterwards. So you can just check out the webinar when you get back home after picking up your kit. Right. I see, Rose, you've got a question as well. Just answer that question, or just ask that question again at the end. And then I will be able to answer that. Right, so guys, as I was saying, reposition your business in the path of where the market is heading, and you can become the market leader. It's about perspective and repositioning. Right, the next thing that I want to touch on is essential service. Essential service. Now, I did mention a few things about a nice to have versus a need to have. And this is very important. Your question now becomes, are you selling a nice to have, or are you selling a need to have? That's now your next question. Are you selling a nice to have or a need to have? And you got to be honest here. You got to be honest here, because if you're not honest, then you can't really reposition yourself according to the market, and everything is actually a waste. But if you're honest and you know that currently you're actually selling a nice to have, people don't need it to survive, then you can ask the question, how can I turn this nice to have into a need to have? So you basically manipulate your business and your service offering or your product offering to become an essential service. And there's ways to do that. That's very legit. I'm not talking about being corrupt and going under the table. I'm talking about the concept of your product or your service offering. When the market looks at your product or service offering, what are they thinking? Do I need this? Do I not need this? And we're going to touch on that shortly, because I want to remind you that people buy emotionally and they justify logically. All right. People buy emotionally and they justify logically. So now that you've identified, are you selling a nice to have or a need to have? You need to ask yourself, if it's a need to have, what's the emotional concept of this product or service I'm offering? All right. What's the emotional concept I'm selling in this product or service offering? And what's different about my service or product offering? Those are two concepts you need to implement in your sales pitch, because people buy emotionally. I'm going to say that again. What emotional concept are you selling through your product or service offering? And how is your product or service offering different than that of the competitor? Not competitive, but different. What makes you different? Okay, that's a big thing. And think about it this way. If I need an electrician and I put 5 electricians next to each other, why will I pick 1 out of 5? There's got to be a reason. I mean, in majority, small business owners thinks of a competitive advantage as I've got a better price and a better service than the competitor. And then I get to the competitor, and the competitor says I've got a different price and a different I've got a better price and a better service. Competitor 3 says I've got a better price and a better service. And it's like everybody just say I've got a better price and a better service. So there's no real motivation for me to pick any of the 5 electricians that I need for my house. So the question now becomes, if everybody's more or less operating in the same field with the same service and the same prices, what makes you different than the competitor? Because if everything seems the same, then I'm going to select the one that stands out for me, and he's going to stand out by being different. Okay, something to think about. Guys, you can pop in the chat section for me. What do you think makes you different? This is a challenging question. I love it. Just leave a message in the chat box section about what you think makes you different to your competitor. And I don't want to see something like a better price and a better service. That is now disqualified from this question. What makes you different than the competitor? Let's see what answers comes through. In the meanwhile, I'm going on. Right, people justify logically. So people buy emotionally and people justify logically. Now, when it comes to logically justifying a purchase, it basically goes down to what's the price, what's the time duration, what's the requirements, and what's the process. People want to know, how much will I pay for this? Is what I'm paying justifying if I actually need it or not? All right? How long will it take me to get this product or service offering that I'm buying? What's the requirements you need from me in order to continue? And lastly, what's the process? Step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's how people logically justify a purchase. People buy emotionally. They want to know what's different about you. And people justify logically. Can I afford it? Is it within my time expectations? What's the requirements you need from me? Do I qualify for this? And how do we continue from now on? That is how you set up a sales pitch. Right, I see here Corlia says she's the competitive advantage. I love that. That's absolutely correct, because only you can do what you can do. And that's brilliant. All right, I see Kai Tumetse says marketing approach. Yes, that's very legit. your marketing approach, your brand can have a different, authentic feel to it, and people can really like that and resonate to that. Okay, so guys, in a nutshell, sales is nothing other than an excellent product or service that people need. And there's that word need again. If I can sell something somebody else needs or is an essential, then I'm in the right place because he needs it. He needs it so bad, he's willing to pay me for it. All right. So sales is nothing other than an excellent product or service that people need at a good price. It must be affordable, logical. It must be communicated clearly. That builds trust. And it must be delivered with excellent service. That you guys know, South Africa is known as one of the countries in the world with the worst customer service. Rated. That is terrible. That is shocking. That is unacceptable. If somebody pays you money, it is your duty to deliver your service or your product with freaking excellence. No excuses. No excuses. All right. Okay, guys, so there you have it. That's how you turn your product or service into an essential. You ask yourself, what's a nice to have versus a need to have, and then you change it around. Next, we're going to take a look at service accessibility. And I have touched on this before, but I want to touch on it again. For if you watched my webinars previously, note that I'm hammering in this topic. I'm hammering in this idea because it's so important for you to loosen and unlock payments. It's so important. If people don't have access to your service, they're never going to pay you for it. And if your service is stopped due to lockdown, you've got a serious problem. Not now, but for the future as well. So you need to be creative and innovative, getting around the lockdown to release your service or product offering to your market, which means your business can continue to operate. The one thing that's going to stop people from paying is if it's not accessible. Then they say, okay, cool, I need it. It's logical, I want it, I'm ready to purchase, but I can't access your service or your product, so I can't continue. And that is why it's so important. And I'll hammer in this topic over and over and over. When it comes to service and product accessibility, you must remove the red tape. And I remember last year that I looked at one of my salespeople with the business plans, and I asked him, what is keeping people from paying? And without a doubt, without a question, without a moment of hesitation, he said, the questionnaire. And I realized I need to make the questionnaire easier or find a way even to remove it because it is stopping people from paying for our service. And that, I just want to know from you guys who can read this message clearly. This picture, who can read it? Please let me know. It does read a bit difficult. And I did that purposefully. It's not because I'm bad in graphics. I did it purposefully to prove my point. You got to remove the red tape. You got to make it easy. You need to make it easy. So I, on purpose, made this one difficult to read. All right. Yes, says Taryn. Keep it simplistic. Keep it simplistic. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. All right. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. The easier your service and product offering is, the simpler and quicker people pay. It's literally as easy as that. And I want to share 3 thoughts with you guys. First of all, about removing the red tape. You got to ask yourself, how accessible is my product or service offering? And again, you need to be honest. Be honest with yourself, look in the mirror and take responsibility. How accessible is my product or service offering? Second question or thought, what is the main reason prospects are not paying? If you got to think about your client base and your target market, what is the number one reason they are not paying you for your service? If you can clearly identify the answer, then you can start to think in a direction that actually resolves the issue to loosen up and unlock payments. And the third thought is, how can you target this issue directly and remove it? Okay, I actually already mentioned that. Right, so guys, that is how you look at the issue and create a competitive advantage by trying to be different, better, and more simplistic than the competition. Okay, if you can do this, you will absolutely revolutionize the industry. I guarantee you that. If you're different, if you're better, and if you're more simplistic. Many people only focus on being better. Other people or other businesses only focus on being more simplistic. But what I'm saying is, if you are different, better, and more simplistic, you'll absolutely revolutionize the market or the industry. I guarantee you that. But it's going to take some thought from your side, and it's also a good idea to maybe get somebody involved to help you with that pattern. This is something actually we are specializing on, is trying to identify to people what makes them different, what makes them better, and what makes them more simplistic. Right, so if you want answers to this, you're welcome to contact me afterwards, and we can have a free business consultation about your business on this topic. I'm open for that. I'll also share my email address with you guys shortly when it comes to that free business consultation. Right, so guys, in a nutshell, I want to leave you with the words of Charles Dickens. And he wrote this in his City of Two Tales. Same city, same conditions, same season, but it's just the perspective of the people that was different. So you had people who were optimistic and you had people who were pessimistic. And his words goes as follows. It was the best of times for some people. It was the worst of times for other people. It was the age of wisdom for some people. It was the age of foolishness for other people. It was the epoch of belief for some people. It was the epoch of incredulity for other people. It was the season of light for people who had a good attitude. It was the season of darkness for people who had a negative attitude. It was the spring of hope, or it was the winter of despair. And I want to encourage you guys that it really comes down to, I understand we all have difficult circumstances and things always don't work out the way we want to and so forth. But I want to remind you also, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. And if you can change your perspective to a positive perspective, a perspective of how can I use this crisis to my advantage? How can I reposition my business in the direction to where the market is going to put myself number one? If you look at it with that perspective, I'm saying anything is possible. And you can turn this around and you won't let this good crisis go to waste. Right. So guys, just a reminder, we are a CETA accredited organization, and I did mention earlier that we will be able to assist you with identifying your talents, your skills, as well as your competitive advantage. And I'm also specializing in unlocking ideas and dreams from people and giving them opportunity to launch in the direction of their dreams. Right, so I've got two special offers for you guys today. The first offer, and don't worry, I'm not bullying you guys into buying anything from me, right? Okay, so you can check out the offer. The first one is an online business course, and I'm selling this one today for 24 hours only. The special ends tomorrow, 4 o'clock, for 50% discount, only 490 Rand. Right, so that's the online business course. It will take you about 2 weeks. It's literally as easy as you pay and you start. And it consists of over 30 educational videos, over 25 practical tutorial videos. We've got a study guide and a business plan template included to really help you if you want to start a business, to start it on the right foundation, or if you want to grow your business, to re-look at the foundation of your business, take a different perspective and rebuild that competitive advantage and that whole systematic approach to make sure you're actually building on your strengths and not on your weaknesses. Right. Then we've got a personal business program as well. This is where I'm sitting personally with you over a period of 3 months, consists of 12 consultation sessions. over 12 weeks. It's personal one-to-one coaching, and we literally take a look at your business. I try to challenge your entrepreneurial thinking. We look at your vision for your business and your personal life, and then we also get very practical, and we make sure that we look at the viability of your model. In other words, understanding what you are selling and creating a competitive advantage, relooking your brand. Thirdly, marketing and advertising channels and what's right for your business and your industry. Fourthly, your sales approach, how you can increase your sales. And lastly, your service accessibility and your operational systems. So that's what we do in the personal business program. Note that I do offer a free business consultation before we get started with this personal business program. There we can take a look at your business and how we're going to approach this 12-week personal program in order to continue with that process. That costs 3,900 Rand per month. So it's a period of 3 months, and every month costs 3,900 Rand, and every month consists of 4 consultation sessions. All right. And the module, as I've already actually mentioned, is the prospectus of both the online course and the business program is the realities of entrepreneurship, really aligning your mind with true entrepreneurship, not what we're currently seeing in the market and social media, helping you to identify the right business idea, regardless if you have a business or not. We help you to make sure you actually do business on your strength and your passion, building a viable business model, which is very important. No matter how good or noble your business idea, if you don't have a viable model, you're not going to make money. And we're going to take a look also at creating a personal and business vision. And lastly, the right building blocks for you to do marketing, sales, and operations. That's in a nutshell what we do. There's my email address, Brent, BREND, @entrepreneurshipschool.co.za. And after lockdown, you guys are welcome to pop into our offices in Cape Town. Right, so guys, now we're going over to the questions and answers section. I can see a lot of good feedback coming through. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. If you learned something in this webinar, please share with me what you've learned. You're welcome to send me an email afterwards as well on what you learn and what thoughts and ideas you have. And if there's any questions you guys can now answer, I'm going to answer the questions for you. And as I've already said, if you want to contact me, or if you want a free consultation, please send me an email to Brent@Entrepreneurship School, and we can set that up. Great stuff. So Kai Tumetse says, wow, thank you very much. Great pleasure. You can contact me, Kai Tumetse. I will be looking forward to your phone call. Rose, thank you for your feedback. I really appreciate it. Taryn, thank you for encouraging. And then also Millicent, thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. And if there's any questions, you guys can hit away. Great stuff. Tabu says you've got some things to think about. I like that. I like that. And I just want to touch also, guys, your brain is so powerful. If you only knew how powerful your brain was. And just to give you an idea that no computer company in the world has ever been able to create a computer that has a remote ability of the human brain. Okay, it's like your brain is a freaking supercomputer in your mind, in your head, ready to go to work for you. All right, so if you can really trigger some stuff to think about and think correctly, if you ask the right questions, you're going to get the right answers. If you ask the wrong questions, you're going to get the wrong answers. If you can really trigger your mind to start asking and thinking about the right stuff, guys, nothing is impossible. The brain is the biggest gift God has given us. The biggest gift. Right, I've got a question here. Great. What advice can you give to travel agents who are on hold due to COVID-19? Okay, that is tricky because obviously the industry is standing still. But Kai Tumetse, I would say if I was in your position, I would first of all take a realistic look at the market. When are you expecting to open up again? Even if the industry is open, will tourists have the confidence to travel or not? If the tourists international won't have confidence to travel now, then you might want to rechange your marketing strategy and look local. Look to people that is in South Africa that now wants to travel. So if that's the case, then just change your perspective to local and ask yourself, where is this industry going or this market going? Because lockdown and the COVID-19 pandemic has created a big change. So now you want to ask yourself, what are you, not the media, Kaitu Metse, not the media, not everybody in the media just says everything because everybody says it. But you got to ask yourself, where's this market going? And what can I do that other people can't do? What is my location or my tourism advantage above other people? And who can I now target locally to start traveling? Maybe you want to give a few competitions away. Maybe you want to just get the momentum of your business going, even though you don't make money. Just get people to travel again. It's interesting, but what I think you can send me an email, then we set up a free consultation, then we can actually dig into a few ideas. All right, I hope that helps you, Kaitu Metse. You've got Rose here. How do you gather information of where the market is going? So Rose, that basically comes down to, first of all, asking yourself, who's my client or who's my customer? Is that customer or client a specific trend of people? And if it's a specific trend of people, what are their needs now in this crisis that we're in? What are their needs? And if you can really understand them, the client or the customer, the target market, if you can really understand them, then that's going to put you 50% in a process of gathering the right information for the market. Right. Now that you know what they need, the next thing you want to do is you want to take a look at the competitors and if there's anybody that's missing this concept of what they need. And then you can latch onto that. And now you can ask yourself, latching onto this opportunity, how relevant is it? And then you want to start to now, and the idea is because you're doing this empathy-based marketing analysis, it means you understand the people, the market, the competitors. So now you can logically, and this is not assumption, because you've done your own research, but now you can actually start to project more realistically. If this is what the people need, and this is what the competitors are doing, and these are the opportunities, and this is the way the service delivery will change, now you can start to project where is things heading, what trend is starting to develop in this market. And you can latch onto that trend, and you can make sure that you're first in line to make sure all your systems, all your product and service offering, your brand, everything is repositioned to capture the height of this trend. And that projection is much more authentic and realistic than just assuming, because I've read an article this morning, everybody says this is the new normal and everything's going to change now. So we just believe it because the article said so, but we never thought for ourselves. And just me personally, I mean, what's going to change? I still want to go to Checkers to buy my groceries because I like people. So I like to be between people. I'm not going to stop buying groceries at Checkers because I'm scared now or there's a new apparent normal that's heading my way. I still want to go to the beach. I like the beach. So I'm not going to stop going to the beach. I still want to meet people and have coffee with my friends and my family. So for me, just reading something that says the new normal, I think I take the stance of thinking for myself. So if you're saying it's a new normal, I'm asking why. Why are you saying it's a new normal? Because I'll still do everything that I want to do as soon as everything goes back to normal. Okay, so guys, that's just who I am. I'm thinking differently all the freaking time, all the time. I question stuff. I don't just accept stuff. Don't just accept everything, guys. Question it. Question it. Don't just read anything and just say, oh, everybody's saying this now. But listen, who's everybody? First of all, who's everybody? Okay. Whew. I'm on fire now. You guys shouldn't work me up. Rose, I hope that makes sense. If you can just give me an indication that you're happy with that, that is good. And Kai to Metse, also give me an indication if you were happy with my answer. If not, I'll try to elaborate again. Okay. And guys, I want to encourage you, think for yourselves. Don't just listen to everybody and do what everybody else is doing. The blind leads the blind. Everybody falls into the ditch. Okay, if that person's blind and you listen to him, you're going to end up in the ditch with him. It's not going to be your fault, but it's actually going to be your fault because you didn't think for yourself. We all have a brain. We have free will. We can make our own decisions. Woo! Okay. Rose, I'm still waiting for you and for Kai to Metse just to give me a thumbs up that you're happy. Any other questions? Any other questions? Looks like everybody has gone quiet now. Are you guys still there? All right, good, good. Well answered. Okay, Rose, good stuff. Yeah, the answers comes through. I think there was a delay on my side. I've got one here from... Oh, I see. Guys, it looks like my chat stopped working, so I'm actually behind here. Just give me a second. I'm going to catch up. Okay. Hualepa says, I'm in the same boat as Kai to Metse. I'm in the events and entertainment industry, and currently the industry is moving in the digital space. Right. I'll touch on that now. I've got Zabantu who says, what advice can you give to manufacturers? All right. So first of all, let me just quickly look at Hualepa. As I've already mentioned, it is quite difficult because the industry is standing still. I see that they're actually easing restrictions now in level 3. So there's an opportunity for you, Hualepa, to go into the entertainment industry and really look at how you were doing things. And I think if you can, because entertainment is social, you actually have an opportunity on Facebook and Instagram to continue doing certain events. If you can maybe get a big name on board, if you've got one person that's got a great following, you can possibly approach that person and try to do something online. Or even you can do smaller events. So you can maybe look at the public gatherings of 50 and make a very exclusive entertainment gig for only 50 people. And then you can make the clients feel, or the people that's going to attend feel very special because it's a 5-star event. Not everybody gets tickets and so forth. So exclusivity can maybe an approach for you to go forward with as a concept. People want to feel important. So get 50 people, make them feel important, and do a show for them regarding all the levels of lockdown and so forth. So that's something that I can think of from the top of my head. I will go in the direction of making people feel exclusive and special and like a VIP, and only have 50 people, high ticket prices, and get that contact that you know really well that has a great following, and let him do a show for you. Right. Zabantu says, what advice can you give to manufacturers? For me, manufacturing, I would say, Zabantu, if I was in manufacturing, I would literally focus on what people need. And if I think about what people need to survive every day, I would say, first of all, people need food. So any food manufacturing, food retailer, food store will always have business because people need food every day. The second thing I will look to manufacture is clothes. People need to wear clothes every day to protect them from the elements. That's another thing that we need to survive. The other thing that I will look into when it comes to manufacturing is maybe manufacturing something in transport, because people need to get from point A to point B every single day. So transport is an essential service. And the list goes on. You got to think to yourself when it comes to manufacturing, what will people buy regardless if there's a recession or not? Because regardless if there's a recession or not, people will still spend money. It just becomes a matter of fact on what will they spend their money now that there's a recession. Obviously, it's essentials, things I need every day to survive. So I will look at things people need every day to survive, and I will manufacture that. So Bantu, you can let me know if you're happy with that answer. I've got the the new art business focusing on healing and just needs some form of perspective. Yes, the new, you can talk to me privately. You've got my email address, brain@entrepreneurshipschool.co.za. Please pop me an email, and then we can schedule a free consultation session, and we can talk about your business and a bit of perspective. Right. Thank you, Rose, Jonse, Kaitu Metse, you happy? I'm waiting for your email, right? Thank you, Corlia, for the great positive feedback. I really appreciate it. And the new, please look at my request below. Yes, I saw. I answered that now. Just let me know the new if you're happy with that answer. Please pop me an email. I'll be expecting an email from you. I'll be expecting an email from Kaitu Metsu. Great stuff. Guys, if there's any other questions, I'll hang around for another 2-3 minutes. Great. Bongin Kosi, thank you. I will read that and get back to you ASAP. Thanks, Jonse. I love your energy, always excited and ready. Guys, just interesting, Jonse arranged an interview for me on Kaya FM, which I did last week, Tuesday. You can check out that interview. It's on my blog, on our website, entrepreneurshipschool.co.za. You'll see on the blog, there's a Kaya FM interview. Go listen to that. It was quite fun. I really enjoyed that. And it gave me an opportunity to speak out against corruption publicly, which was quite cool. I really enjoyed that because I can't stand corruption. Right? Guys, go check that out. Thanks, Jonse. That was much fun, that interview. I really enjoyed that. Cool, guys. So that's it. I'm gonna knock off now. Thanks so much for the positive feedback. And I'm happy that you guys have learned something. And it's really my passion. What I'm doing here is absolutely, I'm super passionate about it. Regardless if there's 20, 30, 40, 50 people listening, I'll always give my best. And I'm happy that you guys are happy. Go check me out on Facebook, Instagram. Make sure you stay up to date with the content. And this replay for this webinar will also be emailed to you shortly. And I will see you guys in the next webinar. Have a fantastic day. Send me an email and we'll take it from there.